2020, computer security experts reported another Intel chip security flaw, besides the Meltdown and Spectre flaws, with the systematic name CVE 2019-0090, or Intel CSME bug. 109. This newly found flaw is not fixable with a firmware update, and affects nearly all Intel chips released in the past 5 years. 110, 111, 112. Use of Intel products by Apple Incorporated, 2005-2019. On the 6th of June, 2005, Steve Jobs, then CEO of Apple, announced that Apple would be transitioning the Macintosh from its long-favored PowerPC architecture to the Intel x86 architecture because the future PowerPC roadmap was unable to satisfy Apple's needs. 55, 171. This was seen as a win for Intel. 56. Although an analyst called the move risky and foolish, as Intel's current offerings at the time were considered to be behind those of AMD and IBM. 57. The first.
Yes, it's 3 more videos ready to go public. Let's do that. Now it's 10:50 a.m. Yes, cheers. But this helped me a lot. This helped me a lot better to understand the text. And when I'm finished reading this PDF, I drag it into a folder I call Finish Reading. Then I put the date. I had to remember to do that because these documents on Wikipedia, they are changing every week and every month. Not maybe everything, but if I go back in like many years, I could read it again if they have somebody have added no new for information in the last many years. But let's put it public. That's the 4 part I did record this morning. So then I can get a break. I can get a break and charge the camcorder like half an hour or something, but I should not have too long breaks because I just need, if I need to go to bathroom or something. But now we have 4 parts videos. Yes, let's maybe have some big plans, but I like to record the next many weeks and months, but we only have a few, only read like 5 PDF. So they are public, part 66, 67, 8, 9. Good. They are public, but this will maybe help somebody like me that's not English to better understand, because that's helped me a lot to somebody's reading this loud with an English voice, because then I can better understand the words. So that's this actually is very helpful. But I will go back to my bed. I will lay because my back is hurting. I cannot sit like this behind the camcorder on my bed. I have to lay down, so let's wait. I have to need 30 seconds to make myself ready. And drag my table and adjust my camcorder. Good, let's just continue. Have record 25 minutes, so maybe in like 1 hour I need another break. But I can only read 1 page by 1 page.
Mac computers containing Intel CPUs were announced on the 10th of January, 2006, and Apple had its entire line of consumer Macs running on Intel processors by early August 2006. The Apple Surf server was updated to Intel Xeon processors from November 2006 and was offered in a configuration similar to Apple's Mac Pro. 172. Despite Apple's use of Intel products, relations between the two companies were strained at times. 173. Rumors of Apple switching from Intel processors to their own designs began circulating as early as 2011. 174. On the 22nd of June, 2020, during Apple's annual WWDC, Tim Cook, Apple's CEO, announced that they would be transitioning their entire Mac line from Intel CPUs to their custom processors over the course of the next 2 years. In the short term, this transition is estimated to have minimal effects on Intel, as Apple only accounts for 2% to 4% of their revenue. However, Apple's shift to their own chips might prompt other PC manufacturers to reassess their reliance on Intel and the x86 architecture. 122. 123. By November 2020, Apple unveiled the Apple M1, their processor designed for the Mac. 175, 176, 177, 178, solid-state drives, SSD. An Intel MSATA SSD. In 2008, Intel began shipping mainstream solid-state drives, SSDs, with up to 160 GB storage capacities. 179. As with their CPUs, Intel develops SSD chips using ever smaller nanometer processes. These SSDs make use of industry standards such as NAND Flash 180, MSATA 181, PCIe, and NVMe. In 2017, Intel introduced SSDs based on 3D XPoint technology under the Optane brand name. 182. In 2021, SK Hynix acquired most of Intel's NAND memory business, 183, for $7 billion, with the remaining transaction worth $2 billion expected in 2025. 184. Intel also discontinued its consumer Optane products in 2021. 185. Supercomputers. The Intel Scientific Computers division was founded in 1984 by Justin Ratner to design and produce parallel computers based on Intel microprocessors connected in hypercube internetwork topology. 186. In 1992, the name was changed to the Intel Supercomputing Systems division, and development of the EWARP architecture was also subsumed. 187. The division designed several supercomputer systems, including the Intel IPSC/1, IPSC/2, IPSC/860, Paragon and ASIRED. In November 2014, Intel revealed that it is going to use light beams to speed up supercomputers. 188. Fog computing. On the 19th of November 2015, Intel, alongside ARM Holdings, Dell, Cisco Systems, Microsoft, and Princeton University founded the Open Fog Consortium to promote interests and development in fog computing. 189. Intel's chief strategist for the IoT Strategy and Technology Office, Jeff Faders, became the consortium's first president. 190. Self-driving cars. Intel is one of the biggest stakeholders in the self-driving car industry, having joined the race in mid-2017. 191. After joining forces with Mobile. 192. The company is also one of the first in the sector to research consumer acceptance after an AAA report quoted a 78% known acceptance rate of the technology in the US. 193. Safety levels of the technology. The thought of abandoning control to a machine, and psychological comfort of passengers in such situations were the major discussion topics. Initially, the commuters also stated that they did not want to see everything the car was doing. This was primarily a referral to the auto steering wheel with no one sitting in the driving seat. Intel also learned that voice control regulator is vital, and the interface between the humans and machine. Eases the discomfort condition, and brings some sense of control back. 194. It is important to mention that Intel included only 10 people in this study, which makes the study less credible. 193. In a video posted on YouTube. 195. Intel accepted this fact and called for further testing. Programmable devices. Intel has sold Stratix, Aria, and Cyclone FPGAs since acquiring Ultra in 2015. In 2019, Intel released Agilex FPGAs chips aimed at data centers, 5G applications, and other uses. 196. Competition, antitrust and espionage. By the end of the 1990s, microprocessor performance had outstripped software demand for that CPU power. Aside from high-end server systems and software, whose demand dropped with the end of the dot-com bubble, consumer systems ran effectively on increasingly low-cost systems after 2000. Intel's strategy of producing ever more powerful processors and obsoleting their predecessors stumbled, leaving an opportunity for rapid gains by competitors, notably AMD. This, in turn, lowered the profitability of the processor line and ended an era of unprecedented dominance of the PC hardware by Intel. Intel's dominance in the x86 microprocessor market led to numerous charges of antitrust violations over the years, including FTC investigations in both the late 1980s and in 1999, and civil actions such as the 1997 suit by Digital Equipment Corporation, December, and a patent suit by Intergraph. Intel's market dominance. At one time it controlled over 85% of the market for 32-bit x86 microprocessors, combined with Intel's own hardball legal tactics, such as its infamous 338 patent suit versus PC manufacturers. 197, made it an attractive target for litigation. But few of the lawsuits ever amounted to anything. A case of industrial espionage arose in 1995 that involved both Intel and AMD. Bill Gade, an Argentine formerly employed both at AMD and at Intel's Arizona plant, was arrested for attempting in 1993 to sell the i486 and 5P Pentium designs to AMD and to certain foreign powers. 198. Gade videotaped data from his computer screen at Intel and mailed it to AMD, which immediately alerted Intel and authorities, resulting in Gade's arrest. Gade was convicted and sentenced to 33 months in prison in June 1996. 199. 200. Corporate affairs. Leadership and corporate structure. Paulo Teleni, Craig Barrett and Sean Maloney in 2006. Robert Noyce was Intel's CEO at its founding in 1968, followed by co-founder Gordon Moore in 1975. Andy Grove became the company's president in 1979 and added the CEO title in 1987 when Moore became chairman. In 1998 Grove succeeded Moore as chairman, and Craig Barrett, already company president, took over. On the 18th of May, 2005, Barrett handed the reins of the company over to Paulo Teleni, who had been the company president and COO and who was responsible for Intel's design win in the original IBM PC. The board of directors elected Otelinai as president and CEO, and Barrett replaced Grove as chairman of the board. Grove stepped down as chairman, but I retained as a special advisor. In May 2009, Barrett stepped down as chairman off board and was succeeded by James Shaw. In May 2012, Intel vice chairman Andy Bryant, who had held the posts of CFO 1994 and Chief Administrative Officer 2007 at Intel, succeeded Shaw as executive chairman. 201 in November 2012. President and CEO Paul Otelinai announced that he would step down in May 2013 at the age of 62, 3 years before the company's mandatory retirement age. During a 6-month transition period, Intel's board of directors commenced a search process for the next CEO, in which it considered both internal managers and external candidates such as Sanjay Jha and Patrick Gelsinger. 202. Financial results revealed that, under Otelinai, Intel's revenue increased by 55.8%, $34.2 to $53.3 billion, while its net income increased by 46.7%, $7.5 billion to $11 billion. 203. Proving that his illegal business practices were more profitable than the fines levied against the company as punishment for employing them. On the 2nd of May 2013, Executive Vice President and coup Brian Kutnick was elected as Intel's 6th CEO. 204, a selection that became effective on the 16th of May 2013, at the company's annual meeting. Reportedly, the board concluded that an insider could proceed with the role and exert an impact more quickly, without the need to learn Intel's processes, and Kutnick was selected on such a basis. 205. Intel's software head Renee James was selected as president of the company, a role that is second to the CEO position. 206. As of May 2013, Intel's board of directors consists of Andy Bryant, John Donahoe, Frank Yeary, Ambassador Charlene Barshevsky, Susan Decker, Reed Hunt, Paul Otelinai, James Plummer, David Pottruck, and David Yoffie, and creative director Will Iam. The board was described by former Financial Times journalist Tom Foremski as an exemplary example of corporate governance of the highest order and received a rating of 10 from Governance Metrics International, a form of recognition that has only been awarded to 21 other corporate boards worldwide. 207. On the 21st of June 2018, Intel announced the resignation of Brian Kutnick as CEO, with the exposure of a relationship he had with an employee. Bob Swan was named interim CEO, as the board began a search for a permanent CEO. On the 31st of January 2019, Swan transitioned from his role as CFO and interim CEO and was named by the board as These Event CEO to lead the company. 208. On the 13th of January 2021, Intel announced that Swan would be replaced as CEO by Pat Gelsinger, effective February 15. Gelsinger is a former Intel Chief Technology Officer who had previously been head of VMware. 209. Board of Directors. As of the 25th of March 2021, Sad Smiley. 210. Omar Ishrak, Chairman and former CEO of Medtronic. Pat Gelsinger, CEO of Intel. 211. James Goace, Managing Director of Sequoia Capital. Alyssa Henry, Square, Inc. Executive. Raisa Lavizomori, former President and CEO of the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation. Zhu J. King Liu, Professor at the UC Berkeley College of Engineering. Gregory Smith, CFO of Boeing. Dion Weiler, former president and CEO of HP Incorporated. Andrew Wilson, CEO of Electronic Arts. Frank Yeary, managing member of Darwin Capital. Ownership. As of 2017, Intel shares are mainly held by institutional investors,